here. I am whole as I am. I am safe. I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here. I am whole as I am. I am here. I am whole as I am. I am safe. I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here. I am whole as I am. I am here. I am whole as I am.
So just invite you to take a breath into the space that creates, to recognize that below our human identities and the ways in which at times we may doubt ourselves, we may doubt our worth, or be made to question our worth, that there is a truth that resides in each and every one of us, that we are expressions of this one divine life and divine love. And the nature of that life and love is whole and complete. That is the true meaning of the word perfect. And so whenever we may feel uncertain about ourselves or about our circumstances, we can ground into this reality, this greater truth, that right in the midst of any challenge, there is a wholeness and a strength and a truth that can bring about greater understanding, greater peace, and a greater sense of collective wholeness. So I invite you to just take a breath and really invite your full self to be here this morning. You've made it here. Give yourself the gift of being present to what is moving through the music and the message and the people, to remind you of your own perfection and to begin to see it in others. Yes, even others who seem so different. To recognize that same thread of wholeness, of life and love. And as we do this for ourselves and together this morning, let's take a moment to just imagine a world where that is made a reality. That people are encouraged to know their inherent worth and value, to know their sacred connection with the source of all life, and to be guided toward one another. In the fullness of what that really means to be inextricably connected. So for this awareness, for our ability to grow into it each and every day in each and every way, we give a moment of gratitude. Thank you for this ultimate truth that sets us all free. And so it is.
Lying on my back, my pillows at my feet, it seems my head is in the wrong place. If I'm trying to sleep, I figure if I stay this way, I'll float into another day, and the separateness of yesterday will cease to breathe up back and forth of then and now. It convolutes my mind. I know that I will get there if I just let go of time, but time is an illusion that just gives us excuses not to try. Oh, be still and know you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Be still and know if you weren't supposed to, then you wouldn't be. And what could have been, I really couldn't have, 'cause what is just is, you can't change that. Be still, be still, and know. People come and people go like colored strands of yarn. In and out, they weave about without much regard for the role they play in destiny. We're so much bigger than we see. It's a never-ending tapestry that comes to life. It's easier for me to love without explaining why. I do it 'cause my heart defines love as undefined, and limits just don't represent the complicated picture as designed. Oh, be still and know you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Be still and know if you weren't supposed to, then you wouldn't be. And what could have been, I really couldn't have, 'cause what is just is, you can't change that. Be still, be still, and know. Just like a melody, it soothes and burns, but in between the notes, the timing is always the same. So you're better off just listening. Enjoy the song's entirety, and the symmetry will just fall into place. The symmetry will just fall into place. The symmetry will just fall into place. Be still and know you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Be still and know could have been, really couldn't have, 'cause what is just is, you can't change that. Be still, be still, and know.
'Cause is what is what is. You can't change that. Some version of that's gonna be stuck in my head all day. Well, what do you want to talk about today? Pants? No, we can't talk about my pants all day. We're wrapping up our series on the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. If you haven't been here, that's okay. There's something for you. And I've been tracking that in terms of the 7 powers of the ego, the 7 climates of the ego that the gospel teaches us about in a way that, first of all, recognizes that we are perfectly human and perfectly divine, in a way that doesn't dismiss one or the other or put them against each other. And so to understand the climates of the ego in a way that we can work with them to be freer and to have a connection with and a hearing for the voice of our soul. To remember that we are both this human body, this human experience, and this eternal soul. Our final power today that we're talking about is the compulsion of rage. There's a whole podcast someone sent me on mom rage. I know. You're like, really? Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have said that because I don't have any more to say about that. But yeah, so the power of rage can be the most compelling power to derail us and to cloud the truth of love, and can be the power that really disrupts our capacity to return to love. And like many of our emotions, it's really misunderstood and kind of vilified. So I want to be clear. It's kind of been feared and demonized. That's the word I was really looking for. But anger, like all of our emotions, serves a purpose. And the key distinction here is the compulsion of rage, right? We don't want to be acting out of rage it takes us over. And in my understanding, rage is really anger that's not been heard or acknowledged, and it's going to get loud. Like, actually, I'm serious here. There's something important that you need to pay attention to. There's something that you need, maybe a boundary that's being crossed, you're giving too much, you're not seen, you're not being valued, you're not heard. Or you might just be really hungry. I mean, if you can get in touch with it sometimes, it can be that simple. You know what? I'm starving and I'm exhausted. Okay, let me back up. Take a little care of myself. Anger also points us in the direction of what we value and what we care about. When we see something in the world that angers us, that's information about something that's being triggered in us around what matters to us. So it's not anything to be feared or demonized. And if we recognize that it is a normal reaction to a human experience, and we can turn toward it in a way that says, what is this informing me about? Right? Don't be afraid of it. Now, you want to find safe ways to express it. and to see what lies under it, but to shove it down, shove it down, shove it down gets dangerous in another way. I've heard it said that depression can sometimes be understood as anger turned inward. So it's got to go somewhere, and to turn toward it in a way that is recognizing it to hold valuable information is a really good step. And I want to also acknowledge that religion has done a great job of adding stigma to anger, that it's unhealthy and unholy and you should rise above it. You can't really be truly spiritual if you're angry. Well, I have lost that contest. You know, I'm making an overstatement, I think, but women in particular often have trouble expressing anger, and they often have a little easier time expressing sadness, and I don't fall into that category. I can get angry a lot easier than sad, and sometimes it takes me getting angry to realize I'm really sad, and it makes me mad. But that's what the anger can point to. What's underneath that, and what's underneath that? So I encourage you, if you have any of that sort of spiritual people don't get angry gunk on you, to wash it off and to look towards your anger for the healthy emotion that it is and the purpose that it serves. Megan Watterson, whose book I've been using for the majority of this series, says, instead of fearing our rage or thinking it makes us a bad person, instead of pretending we don't have it, find a way to connect with what it is trying to tell us. And Dr. Becky Kennedy, who's the psychologist and parenting guide who did that podcast on mom rage, says that ultimately, I love this, anger is a sign of preserved self-worth. Anger is a sign of preserved self-worth. There is a point at which I am going to respond when my needs aren't met, or when I'm not heard, or when I'm not valued, or when I can't do anymore. It sets some boundaries, some healthy boundaries. So I've been teaching you these these powers of the ego, and then the antidote. What is the resolution, or what is the, I don't want to say answer, but what helps to balance the power? And in this case, it is just the recognition that anger holds information, and to begin to respect it and to turn toward it in a way that it doesn't need to be make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you've screwed up your children, or you're not worthy of love, or all the things that we can make it mean, right? It means you're human, and something of value is getting triggered. So the scripture that from Mary, the Gospel of Mary, that is used to demonstrate this power, let me just remind you that there's great evidence that Mary Magdalene was actually a student and a companion to Jesus, and that after his death, the official disciples that we know about, that we've heard about, the 12 male disciples, turned to Mary and said, they're scared, first of all. Their teacher, who they've given their whole life to follow and to learn from, and who they think is bringing about a whole new experience on earth, has been killed. And so they turn to her and say, Peter, hard-headed Peter, he's kind of a stubborn dude. Which is why he's such a magnificent expression of faith, because he keeps like, show me, prove it to me, prove it. And finally, he gets it. So the trajectory from where he starts as prove it to me, show it to me, I can't do it, to I believe. And I'm starting to think I can do it, right? It's a huge shift for him. So Peter comes to Mary and says, "Sister, we know that the teacher told you things that he didn't teach us. Help us understand." Because they're grieving and they're scared and they're wanting to know, is this real? Is it real what we've learned? Can we keep going on with it? And as she says, "Okay, I will teach you what has been hidden from you," then Peter gets pissed. Wait a minute, there's no way. There's just no way. Because these teachings are so different than what they had experienced with Jesus. Because she's receiving them from a different vantage point. She's receiving them into her heart. They've been thinking about them. Both very important. But it's so different that Peter says, "This can't be." And also, no way would he tell you, the woman, what he wouldn't teach us. It's impossible. So he gets angry. And so Levi comes to her defense and says, where is it? Levi said to Peter, "Peter, you are always ready to give way to your perpetual inclination to anger. And even now you are doing exactly that by questioning the woman as if she is your adversary." So Levi is saying that it is not what Mary is saying that's troubling him. It's that it wasn't told to him. And that even as it's getting told to him, he doesn't understand it. It's making him mad. Have you ever been there? Yeah. So remember, these characters come to life because they're demonstrating aspects of us. Ways that we react, often from an egoic, limited view. So he can't receive the fullness of this teaching because he can't get past, the fact that it wasn't given to him, and then that it was given to someone who is valued far less than him in the culture and the social order. But this is a skillful means that Jesus has used by giving this lesson to Mary. Because if they can hear it from her, they will have to open up their worldview. They'll have to realize, well, maybe this girl knows something. Maybe it's possible that worldview is limited. And Jesus was always teaching and preaching and healing and loving people at the margins who were not at the top of the power structure. And that was women at the time. He was saying, now why would that be? Why do you think he would do that? Think about it. He wasn't in the temple. He wasn't fulfilling a role in the hierarchy of power. No ideas? Is there a hierarchy in spirit? No. And he knew that. And we know that. And yet, here we are. Right? We have social structures, cultural structures, religious structures. So, in his anger, he had a choice to think, is there something that I could actually let go of in order to receive this? And, to be fair, you ever studied something or really learned something, really acquired a skill at something, really worked hard to prove that you can do it? And then someone throws you a huge curveball and you're like, I didn't see that come. Hang on, right? It's annoying. And it's scary because it makes you realize, back to the power of ignorance, maybe I don't know everything there is to know. Is that possible? How could this be? And at that moment, any one of us, just like Peter, one of these days this thing is going to fit my head. Just like Peter, we can decide to loosen our grip on what we think we know or double down. And we've all done it. If it's too far out of what we think is possible, we clam on to what we know is the truth. And when your whole world order gets shaken, so does your place in it for all of us. And so it's understandable, Peter's anger. The catch to all of this is not to act from that place. And that appears to be the decision that he made, because we went on to have the Petrine doctrine that officially said this is a male-dominated structure. Women do not have any place in it. And we're still reeling from that in terms of a formal declaration of a religious denomination. So what do you think if Peter could have said, what is underneath my anger? What do you think he might have found? Fear? Jealousy? Pride?
Suppressing is feminine.
Whoa, she's going right to the bottom, or to the top, yeah. So fear, pride, and I gotta find my way there. You got me there so quickly. So it's also, here's the thing that the feminine that is bringing, that the gospel of Marilyn. Oh, it's pride getting to me. You're going to have Marilyn Monroe show up as a drag queen any moment. Sorry, that just came over me. It was an idea. The gospel of Mary is informing us of a different way of knowing. Right? There is the outer understanding, learning, proving, seeing demonstrations of it. The disciples asked for that over and over. Show us, tell us, prove it. It's important. But what's the other half of that? How does that work in me? How can I apply that? How can I know these teachings, what they mean inside of me and to my life? I have a really good line I've got to find. It seems as though Mary is able to hear these teachings, receive these teachings in a way that is a reflection of how she hears it within herself and what it feels like for her from the inside out. And that's what she's trying to teach them. And again, that was a main theme of Jesus. The kingdom of God is where? It's within you. Stop looking everywhere. It's within you and among you. So her perception is key to really claiming that, to trusting that, to letting it work through the muck and the gunk within her. The feminine listens inward. It values listening and taking seriously what we hear inside of us. And again, this has nothing to do with being a male or a female in a male or female body. These are aspects of our being. I can tell you as a female, I struggle with this because we have created a system that says this is the best way to know, the masculine way. Do it that way, and you'll make it in this world. And our world is falling apart. Not because of you men. You're hurting as much in this system as anyone. Your place is being threatened in it, and it's scary. You didn't ask for it. You've inherited it. And the feminine part of you, who was our guest down here, that recognized that not only was Peter threatened by Mary, who he actually loved and respected, he was threatened by that part of him. By that he would have to release the part, his grip on the part that knows, oh, that clock is wrong. Thank you for pointing that out. It's 12:30. You should try living in my head if you wonder why I say out loud all the things that I think. Okay. It's a very important point. God, it was so important. Where was I? Suppressing his feminine. Yeah. That there would be another way that he would know, that he could learn, that he could experience the depth of these teachings from the inside out. And that was foreign to him and scary. And that is what Mary represented. And I think, if you're on the interwebs at all, you see this divine feminine is rising. You hear this rising. What does that mean? Right? Because there's an opening that says, okay, we've done all we can do in that, from that mindset. From that outward-facing, action-oriented way of doing life. What's happening inside of us? How is it landing inside of us? How come half of our children are full of anxiety? How come half of our parents pay more in childcare than they pay on a mortgage, and you wonder why they're stressed to the limits? I mean, there's all these things. When we start to pay attention to what's actually working in our world and for our people, it's a real shift. It's a shift in priorities too. And so this is really a lesson about, yes, not acting from anger, taking the information from it, which if, in this instance, Peter could have said, wow, look at me acting out against this woman who I love and respect, who I've actually asked to help me understand, and now I'm mad. Let me think about that. And let me think about how this master teacher that I love and respect and I'm grieving saw her as capable. Why can't I? What's underneath that? You see? But the other part of this was to recognize this concept of sacred rage, which is when we see another person or even a creature being harmed or treated unjustly, and how it can trigger, it calls a deep recognition that we are all connected. We feel viscerally that what happens to one person could happen to any of us. And in that recognition, there is suddenly no such thing as someone else's mother or brother or son or daughter. We can feel, if that was my son, if that was my wife, if that was my mother, I would be devastated. And everyone is someone's mother and son and brother. And so when we disconnect from that anger, we're disconnecting from a call to stand up for one another. Not from rage and anger, not in a riot, but we can understand why it happens that way. When people are not valued, they get pissed. the better reflection would be to say, which is what they did, what some people are celebrating with Pride, is the Stonewall Inn riots from the late 60s where, gay people couldn't really be anywhere publicly and feel safe. And there were certain bars that they could be in, and Stonewall happened to be one of them. And I didn't know this, but Stonewall was owned by the mafia. Nice job, gays. So they're just hanging out, and the police raid the place, not like on a Thursday at 3, but like on a Friday at 1 a.m., where people have been at the bar. And they're in the bar because it's one of the few places they could be safely and be dancing and be expressing who they were. And they came in threatening to beat and arrest them. And it went terribly awry. I'd like to think because the mafia was behind it somehow, but I doubt it. There was too many people that said, no, we can have a space where we can be. And so there were riots immediately, causing damage, causing people to get hurt. And then the community got together and said, wait a minute. What's behind this is everyone should be entitled to have a place to be. They're not causing anyone harm. They're not burning down buildings. And so that was the beginning of a movement for the fulfillment of gay rights, right? That you can be who you are. And certainly in an establishment that has welcomed you, and you're getting arrested. So Pride is the remembrance of that and the celebration of the people that had the courage to stand up to that and to say, no, everyone deserves human rights, right? It's not just, I know it seems like a big party, and it is. There's a big freaking party. I don't do it anymore. I'm too old for that. But that's what it's commemorating, is what that sacred rage can move us to. The same thing with the civil rights movement, right? And so it's really dangerous. This is what I've learned through this, working on this lesson, how anger has become demonized and how we're so quick to push it down. It's dangerous for our health and our well-being, and it's dangerous for our humanity, because when it kicks in, that sacred rage, when we see someone being mistreated or devalued, that is an important signal that we want to pay attention to and respect and mine it for information. And then take action from a steadied place, which is really always from love, to unify us with the good in all people and to magnify that. All right, any questions? We'll take a few moments in meditation to see how this lands in you, to get a relationship a little bit into welcoming anger as information. I'm not going to touch you in. Please don't touch into anything that's like you're on the verge of rage right now. Go gentle with yourself. But we'll have an experience with it. I'll ring the singing bowl that invites us to drop from our head to our heart and just take a deep breath. Move your body a little bit. I know you've been sitting for a while, so get comfortable. Just take a breath and feel the support of the earth beneath your feet. The chair supporting your back. And let your breath draw you inward. As much as possible, sort of releasing the busyness of your thoughts to just welcome the full experience of being this human body right here, right now. And this miraculous soul that dwells within there. The body is the soul's chance to be here. We honor the gift that it is to know life through this human experience. And we welcome the greater reality that we are not limited to the human experience, that we contain spiritual wisdom and love at the very center of our being. It is what illuminates our mind and our body. So again, just breathing into reach that place further in. I'm going to share the experience of, again, envisioning a golden light, seeing a golden light with your mind's eye, surrounding you from head to toe, from the top of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. So allow that golden light to pass over the surface of your skin, and down through your body. Allow it to coat your throat area, your power center. Allow it to soothe your heart. And expand your lungs. Follow it through your diaphragm. To your stomach. Allow that light to relax any tension you might be holding in your stomach with a breath. Moving across your hips and down your thighs and out through the soles of your feet. Letting it take with you anything that is not serving you in this moment. Any resistance, any judgment, any fear, any old belief that is keeping you bound in any way, letting that go into the earth. And taking again a conscious breath now into your heart space, into that great big unseeable love that lives within you. Allow yourself to contemplate this notion that anger is information. And take a moment to notice your relationship with anger. Is it something that you have tried to deny or repress? Or is it something that feels compulsive that you act on in ways you regret? Just noticing, just to get clear. How comfortable are you with it? How familiar are you with it? How equipped are you to handle it in a way that gives you that information? And then just taking a breath into the idea that that is its purpose. Anger is information. So you might notice if there is a place that you're feeling some anger in your life. Is there information information there? What's the message there? What's important to you there? Or what do you need to tend to? And notice perhaps how anger has kept you tied to responding to world events in a way that either diminishes your connection with all of creation or illuminates that. And the invitation is to really just recognize how deeply, if we get present and recognize our interconnection, that we really do care for one another. It's part of our makeup. There is a part of us below all the sound bites that knows inherently that all life matters. And so we give thanks that we could be on the receiving end of that protection. And we have courage to know that we will be called upon at some point in our life to stand for the care and justice for another person. And this is what that sacred rage is pointing us to. This is what it means to live out of love and oneness. And it requires us to get still and to connect with what information our anger holds and to value it. So we give thanks for the opportunity to do that together, to be still and know. Feeling angry? A put you into a real quieted space. So I'll invite you to come back out to this time and space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that everyone is doing to make this a true communal effort around here, from the covering of the children's ministry while Lisa is gone, to all of you who have participated in dreaming the future of unity and all that continues to come forth from that. People are in the bookstore, people are doing all sorts of things, fellowship. So thank you for all the ways that you support this ministry. And one of the ways that you all do that as well is through your financial donations, which is how we do all that we do here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver. So it is in support of this mission that your donations go forth to do the work of unity in the world. There are baskets in the back for your cash and check as you're leaving. Please take advantage of that. And then there's also a QR code for those of you who don't have your checkbook. That was a joke. All right. So you can give electronically, which I know many of you do already. So thank you for that. You can just scan the QR code and give a donation that way. So however it is that you are giving today, thank you for that, and I'll just ask you to claim your part in making this mission a reality for us. Together, we inspire authentic connection with the divine self and others for spiritual growth, healing, and loving service in the world. And so it is. Summer's going to rock us out here now. Do it.
Hit it, John B. I felt it coming on so strong, like I'd been sleeping way too long. Get up, if you want. Something's in my head, screaming out loud, so you better move fast and you better move now, yeah. Drop that baggage, leave it behind, cause the old stuff ain't gonna work this time. Oh, you don't have to take what you've been given. All you gotta do is run with the rhythm. Ah, you got the fire. Oh, yeah. You got the fire. Oh, yeah. You do. You got the fire. You got the fire. Fist pump. There's a light inside that burns so bright it can cut right through the darkest night. Yeah. Gonna shed those layers and labels and lines that's held me down, that's kept me tight. It's time to sink or swim, and I'm gonna do one better than I'm gonna fly. No, you don't have to take what you've been given. All you gotta do is run with the rhythm. Ah, you got the fire. Oh yeah. You got the fire, especially in those pants. Oh yeah. You got the fire. The fire. We need more coffee. All my artists gather around. Bring your colors, bring your sounds. You got the fire. Oh, my drummers bring the beats, bring all the dancers to the streets. You got the fire, yeah. Poets, painters, magic makers, storybook writers, daydream designers. So people start listening, cause I've had a vision. start listening, 'cause I